This is WKYT This Morning.
Hello there. We're glad you're starting your Kentucky morning with WKYT. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. It's Super Tuesday and it's March 1st.
And now at 6:30, shots have been fired into a Lexington home this morning where some young children were sleeping. We're live on the scene with this crime alert.
Getting answers in Estill County after radioactive waste was dumped illegally. Details in a public forum tonight.
And state lawmakers approve a controversial bill designed to prevent abortions.
And we are already seeing a few showers, a few thunderstorms spark up back toward the west. Not in our viewing area, but the severe weather threat is well west. I'm going to talk about timing on this, when you can expect it near your house, coming up in a few minutes.
All right, and here's the latest from WKYT News. And new this hour, some scary moments for a Lexington family. Someone fired several shots right into their home.
This happened around 3:30 this morning on Newcastle Street in the Cardinal Valley neighborhood. WKYT's Mark Barber has been talking with police and is joining us live from the scene with an update. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Rebecca. And police tell me that they are now stepping up their patrols in this Cardinal Valley neighborhood because 5 to 6 shots were fired into that home where 3 people were sleeping. Now, investigators tell me that those shots were fired through the front windows of the house. So they say that the adult and the 2 juveniles who were sleeping in back bedrooms, they were not hurt by any of the gunfire. Now, officers rushed to the home around 3:30 this morning after a neighbor called to report hearing gunfire outside. Police tell me they are still investigating, but they don't have a lot to go on so far. They still don't know who the shooter is or why the home was targeted. Officers tell me they are hoping to learn more this morning when they go ahead and they follow up with those 3 people who were sleeping inside the home. Until then, they tell me they will continue stepping up their patrols in this Cardinal Valley neighborhood. That's the latest here in Lexington. I'm Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you very much. We could hear testimony later today in the case against a Lexington man who's accused of murder. LaRaz Mitchell was shot and killed last month outside a strip club on Richmond Road. Police charged Clarence Taylor with his murder. Taylor will be in court today for a preliminary hearing.
Well, some people in Estill County hope to calm fears tonight by holding a public forum. This comes after the county discovered tons of radioactive waste was illegally dumped into a landfill. WKYT's Mike Byer is at our live desk with details on tonight's forum.
Estill County Judge Executive Wallace Taylor says he still has a lot of questions about the situation involving radioactive waste at the Blue Ridge landfill. Judge Taylor and many concerned residents hope to have some of their questions answered tonight at 6 p.m. This is when a meeting will take place at Estill County High School, which is right across the street from the landfill. Now, the good news out of all of this is a third-party contractor came in over the weekend to do air and water tests at the landfill, nearby schools and houses. None of those tests revealed anything abnormal. All of this began when county leaders found out last week that radioactive waste from operations in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia were illegally sent to the Blue Ridge landfill between July and November of last year. Now, the landfill has also hired an agency who will come out to do radiation tests this week. So far, all of this testing has cost the county over $10,000. But Judge Taylor says the landfill will reimburse the county. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thank you, Mike. New on WKYT this morning, Lexington police say they had no trouble tracking down a man accused of breaking into a home. Clay Garrison of Cincinnati is charged with burglary. Last month, police say a woman woke up to find a stranger in her home. She yelled and the stranger left, but police say Garrison left his AAA card on the woman's kitchen counter.
And 3 recent gas station robberies in central Kentucky may be connected. Yesterday morning, we told you about a robbery at the Double Quick on US 27 in Jessamine County. In the surveillance video, you can see 3 masked men pull guns on the clerk and a customer. And this comes after a Speedway in Richmond was robbed on Sunday morning, followed by a robbery at a Circle K in Lexington hours later. Nicholasville police say there are similarities among the 3 cases and no arrests have been made.
A forest fire is burning this morning in the Daniel Boone National Forest. Officer Don flew over the fire in McCreary County. There are no reports of injuries. No evacuations are ordered. Kentucky's spring forest fire season began 2 weeks ago. Already, the Division of Forestry says there have been more than 30 reported fires across the state.
Republican presidential candidates are busy with Super Tuesday, but also eyeing the Commonwealth this week. Donald Trump is spending part of Super Tuesday in Louisville. He'll be at the Kentucky International Convention Center this afternoon. And Senator Marco Rubio has also scheduled a campaign stop here in the Bluegrass State. Rubio will be in Lexington on Friday. His campaign has not announced exactly where at this point. Also, Senator Ted Cruz expected to make a stop in Kentucky before Saturday's GOP caucus. And by having an early caucus, the Commonwealth has more influence on the presidential election process. The caucus for voters will be similar to a regular Kentucky election, but instead of going to the polls, you have to go to caucus locations in your county. You can find that information on WKYT.com.
Well, the Kentucky Senate has passed a bill that would require doctors to perform ultrasounds prior to abortions and to describe to the mother what they see. The bill now heads to the House. Earlier this legislative session, Kentucky lawmakers approved a bill that updates the state's informed consent law. Governor Matt Bevin signed it into law.
New this morning, a state lawmaker has filed a bill that would keep the state's health insurance exchange and the expanded Medicaid program in place. Representative Darrell Owens, a Democrat from Louisville, says losing Connect and the Medicaid expansion would hurt thousands across the state. Governor Matt Bevin has vowed to dismantle Connect by the end of the year. He says it costs the state too much money.
His fight against cancer has drawn support from around the country. Now Lexington firefighter Matt Logston has returned home from Chicago after his first round of treatment. Logston lives in Louisville, and last night that's where his friends held a fundraiser to help him and his family. He stopped by to show his thanks.
It just shows me that, being a fireman, the brotherhood just goes beyond the truck. It's not just something you do, it's not just your job, it's something that you are, and it means something to people.
Another fundraiser is planned for today. Lexington's Double H Barbecue on Versailles Road will donate 10% of the proceeds to the Logston family. So he's getting a lot of support from really all across the state.
And the nation, really, and it is just incredible to see that. And certainly all of our thoughts remaining with him as folks are pulling for him.
For sure. Well, the Kentucky Wildcats in Florida today for their next to last game of the regular season.
And Coach John Calipari is tweaking again. He says he is trying to build confidence and change the way his big men think about playing the game. Calipari has successfully tweaked before. You remember 2 years ago, before the SEC tournament, he made changes. Tonight's game in Gainesville is at 7 o'clock. It'll be on ESPN. Should be a good game, important one certainly for the Cats.
I thought for a second that script said twerking.
I thought you would think that. How did I know somewhere you would work that in? But he's going to tweak, not twerk. All right, let's check live drive traffic, 6:38 this morning, and see what is going on. Officer Don with a check on live drive traffic. Good morning, Don.
Hey, good morning, gang. Well, overall traffic flow still pretty light around town. We get a real-time view of that. And right now, on Richmond Road past the Circle, not much of a delay. St. Beal inbound Nicholasville Road from Jessamine County. Of course, we had that issue earlier on Versailles Road at New Circle. Shouldn't be much of an issue now. At the most, one-lane block approaching the Circle outbound Versailles Road. Drive times from Nicholasville still looks good. No problems coming in from Mount Sterling this morning. Paris on Paris Pike. We're okay both directions, and across the Clays Ferry Bridge. I-75 in great shape. We'll keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to the studio.
Okay, should be a good ride in this morning. Everybody remember the delays down there at the Kentucky-Tennessee line because of I-75 and the rock slide on Jellicoe Mountain. All right, the latest traffic and weather info anytime on the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download that for free in the app or Google Play stores. Our time is 6:39, Tuesday morning, the 1st of March. More WKYT This Morning on the way.
Rock climbing can be dangerous, even more dangerous when the rock's covered in ice. We'll take a look at one man's favorite hobby coming up.
And we're going to be seeing the strong to severe thunderstorms really spark up later on this afternoon. We're already seeing some out ahead of that. What does that mean for our forecast, and when can you expect these? I'll have that coming up next. We're under a first alert severe weather day just due to the fact here comes some strong to potentially severe storms later on this afternoon. But when you walk outside this morning, Trust me, it's not going to feel like it. It's cool, it's chilly. You'll have to have a light coat before you take off. By the afternoon, you'll get rid of that coat. We're talking 65 degrees later on today. So a big system back toward our west. I want to show you this, though. This is going to help us out big time. See these showers and thunderstorms sparking up back toward Owensboro? That's well west of us. It's not going to affect us. That actually heads north and northeast. But what we're going to be seeing little bits and pieces spark up before the main line comes through. Here's obviously the potent system we're going to be watching for. It's not very impressive right now, but it gets things going here within the next, I would say, 6 to about 8 hours as we see that approach from the west. So let's talk about the impacts first. The impacts on this are relatively low. Strong winds, they're not really very high. We go into the tornadic activity, flooding activity, you're talking relatively low, especially as we continue to track off into the afternoon hours. So this is a low-end severe weather risk. Nonetheless, it is still a risk. That's why we have that severe weather day in place. So watch as we go through time. So let's really break it down for you. There's the impacts. What areas have the best chance of actually picking up severe weather? Anywhere from northern Kentucky, I-75, and back toward the west. That is your best opportunity to see that. Once we get off into the mountainous regions, far east and southeast Kentucky, there's a marginal risk, which means very, very slight chance. And that still gives you that chance, but it's not as good as you work your way back toward the west and toward the northwest. Still a low and severe weather risk for everybody. Hour by hour, watch this. This is what you want to see as you try to plan out your day. Here's what we're looking at. By I-65, we'll see that roll right across, and that being the squall line, roll right across I-65 and back toward the west anywhere from noontime to 2 p.m. So that goes for you across Bardstown, BG Parkway, 127, 68 as you roll through Marion County and Taylor County. Then we get into 2 p.m. to about 4 p.m. That's when you could see it roll across the I-75 corridor. That takes you down to London. That's Richmond. That's Lexington. That's all the bluegrass region, which does include Frankfort, Georgetown. Work your way back toward Danville, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then you slide eastbound anywhere from 3 p.m. to about 6 p.m. is when you'll see it slide into eastern Kentucky. So what does that tell you? That tells you the morning hours are going to be good. Afternoon, not so good. And so timing on this, school officials will have to watch this, trying to time when to send the kids home, maybe hold them a little bit if it rolls through by the time the kids are getting let out of school. But most of this, the majority of this, will move through before the kids are out of school. Trying to get it on out. That's what we're shooting for. But strong, no doubt about it. Severe, there's a likelihood of actually seeing some severe cells embedded within this. Look at 6 p.m. in the mid-50s. Watch this going off toward 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Boy, it is dropping. From 8 p.m. to midnight, you're looking about a 15-degree swing. Right around midnight, you're talking 20s. This is going to be a big drop of temperatures. You will get some flurries and some flakes overnight and into tomorrow. But do you expect any accumulation out of this? No, that means the kids are going back to school tomorrow. They will not be home tomorrow, especially since the ground is just so warm. So light snow, warm ground, it's just not a good combo to have kids having a snow day. So what we're going to be watching for today, obviously, noontime to 6 p.m., still those strong, potentially severe storms. Damaging winds will be our main issue. Cannot rule out an isolated tornado, spin-up tornado here or there. But remember, low end. This is the likelihood of that actually happening is very, very low, but it's still there. We get in toward Wednesday, a few flakes early, no big issues. Thursday, rain and snow mix. More of rain than snow, but still the snow is going to be mixed in here and there. Still, no problems out of that. So the next several days, you'll see once I step out of the way. I just wanted to stay in the way of that just to show you and reveal next week. It's 70 degrees. 7 days out, we're already putting the big 7-0 there on Monday. The spring air comes flying on in here. There's no chance at a strong snowstorm anytime soon. There's no chance at really widespread accumulating snow anytime soon. All focus is on the spring situation we have going on with the thunderstorms later on today, and also that feel. 65 degrees will feel really nice today, but that is what you don't want to see on days like this, because you know you're really streaming in that moisture, that warm air and hopefully we can get some clouds around here during the morning hours. Try to keep that in.
So heads up on that. But my attention was on that 70 next
Yeah,
Monday.
for
Does that look
sure.
good?
Oh, that's
It'll be nice.
so
It's a
great.
Monday, and nobody likes a Monday.
Right.
So throw a 70 in there and
That'll make it all better. All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Micah. 6:47 is the time this morning.
So in case you were going to haphazardly start ice climbing, just know it's a dangerous hobby.
Yeah, even more dangerous maybe for the 62-year-old man, but that is not stopping Don Miller from doing what he loves. It happens to be scaling New York's Adirondack rock faces covered in ice. Miller is sharing his love of ice climbing to generations of students at a prep school where he teaches. If you want to give it a try, Miller's written a book all about ice climbing.
I guess it keeps you young because he looks pretty young.
He does. Man, that has to be tough. So, you're taking your chances, right?
I mean, rock climbing itself is, kind of scary.
Right.
But ice and rocks.
Hoping it holds.
Yeah.
All right, 6:48 the time here on your Tuesday morning, and it's wonderful to have you with us. We have a lot more coming up.
Yeah, we do. We have more news. Stick around with us.
Coming up, candidates gear up for Campaign 2016 Super Tuesday. What to expect and what's at stake. Plus, she launched a campaign to find a kidney. Could this generous stranger help save her life? More real news coming up on CBS This Morning. Next.
Welcome back in, 6:51. They're getting ready to go there at CBS This Morning. Full coverage of the day Super Tuesday across America. This morning, Lexington police are searching for the shooter who fired into a home 5 to 6 times this morning while 3 people were inside sleeping.
It was a close call, but investigators say no one was hurt because the adult and 2 juveniles were sleeping in back bedrooms. The shooting happened around 3:30 in the morning on Newcastle Street. Police are stepping up patrols in the neighborhood while they try to figure out why that home was targeted and who fired at the house.
It looks like that rock slide that has part of I-75 shut down at the Kentucky-Tennessee line could be cleaned up by the end of the month. Officer Don flew over the rock slide just south of the Kentucky-Tennessee border in Sky First. A 20-mile stretch of the interstate has been closed since Friday. Semis heading south now have to exit off of I-75 at Corbin and take US 25E over toward Middlesboro. The Tennessee Department of Transportation says the southbound lanes should reopen within 2 weeks. It'll be about 3 weeks, though, before they get to reopen the northbound lanes, and work to stabilize the hill and repair the interstate could actually continue into mid-April. Well, it is the biggest day of the presidential race so far. Super Tuesday packs one day full of voting across much of the country. WKYT's Jacqueline Pellicastro is in Boulder, Colorado this morning to break it down.
Good morning on this Super Tuesday. Voters in 12 states will choose their candidate in this wild presidential race. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton head into the day dominating their competition. Trump says he will take home victories that will help him wrap up the nomination. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, and Ben Carson are still battling, most arguing that a Trump nomination would kill the GOP's chances in the fall. Hillary Clinton is working to lock out Bernie Sanders, who has already stayed in the race longer than originally expected. He also continues to raise significant campaign cash. It's a big day for every presidential candidate. We might come out of this Super Tuesday with more clarity or more confusion. Reporting in Boulder, Colorado, I'm Jacqueline Pellicastro.
All right, we'll see you later on today. Thank you. President Barack Obama is due to meet face-to-face today with Senate Republican leaders who are vowing to block his nominee to the U.S. Supreme Court, no matter who it is. Republicans say they think the next president should fill the vacancy on the court. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky is due at the White House at mid-morning for the sit-down with Obama and other Democratic leaders. It will be the first time the leaders have met since Justice Antonin Scalia's unexpected death last month set off a clash over the Supreme Court.
Testimony continues today in the civil lawsuit involving TV sportscaster Erin Andrews. Erin Andrews became emotional on the stand yesterday as she recalled the moment she learned Michael Barrett had secretly videotaped her while she was in her hotel room naked. Andrews is suing Barrett as well as the National Marriott in Tennessee for $75 million over the 2008 incident. Oscar-winning character actor George Kennedy has died. The brawny Kennedy won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his role in the convict in Dragline in the 1967 hit Cool Hand Luke. He was a staple in such 1970s disaster epics, Earthquake, and the Airport movies. He brought laughs as a police detective in the Naked Gun trilogy. In all, Kennedy appeared in more than 180 movies and TV shows in a career spanning almost 60 years. He was 91 years old.
Certainly an iconic figure back in the day on film. 6:55 is our time on WKYT.com. It is a first alert severe weather day. We're keeping you ahead of a line of potentially strong storms that we expect to move through later today. You can find Micah's updated forecast as well as the timing for the arrival of those storms that again could have embedded severe elements. It's not expected to be a big problem, but we'll keep watch on it. Lexington police stepping up patrols in a neighborhood off Versailles Road this morning. Shots fired into a house there. Several people were sleeping when the home was hit by the bullets. There is the scene. Also, WKYT investigates a tale of two cities. While Lexington Centerpoint development has floundered for years downtown, Louisville broke ground in January on its massive Omni project, and it's expected to be completed in 2 years. Look up and share our story about what is making a difference there between those two projects. We're staying on top of the story in Estill County, where local leaders will answer questions tonight about the radioactive waste that has been dumped in a landfill near schools and homes. Look for our continued reporting on that. On Kentucky.com, a big crowd gathered for the grand opening of the 21C Hotel in downtown Lexington. They have that story. Also, Coach Cal hoping a tweak will steady his team and bring some confidence as the Cats take on Florida tonight and get ready for the postseason. And CBS This Morning is coming up with your eye opener and coverage of Super Tuesday, and we'll have local updates. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and for the latest, WKYT.com.
We are calm and quiet this morning. Here's the breakdown. Look at the screen before we head off air and you take off early this morning. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. across I-65. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That goes I-75, includes Lexington. Then 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., guys, over toward the east. Strong to severe sales later today.
All right. Well, nobody's more up to date than you to start your day. Thank you for being with WKYT.
Have a great day.